Harry and Meghan, the dreariest couple in the history of planet Earth.
Let's chat about Meghan Markle. She couldn't be more cringe if she tried.
Now, a staggering 2/3 of Brits are calling for Harry and Meghan to be stripped of their HRH titles.
Prince William plans to flex his muscles and wipe his wayward brother Prince Harry and his power-hungry wife Meghan from the history books.
Prince William is reportedly formulating a plan to finally strip Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their HRH titles.
Well, Her Royal Highness Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, is about to be stripped of her official title.
It's hardly a secret that the palace has already conducted secret meetings with members of the government to discuss putting the plan into action.
Are you joking? It's bad. It's terrible.
I would love reconciliation with my family. I don't know how much longer my father has. He won't speak to me because of this security stuff. But it would be nice to reconcile. If they don't want that, that's entirely up to them.
She's slaughtered this weekend because there were some business cards in the back of one of her podcasts. She's still using her royal title, HRH, despite our late Queen warning her against.
Are you joking? It's bad. It's terrible. It's stupid.
Prince William, he's reportedly furious after it emerged that Meghan Markle is still using her HRH title despite agreeing to drop the title when the Sussexes left royal duties.
Meghan Markle has been very brazen recently with the use of the HRH.
The American actress who became a duchess, who tried to destroy the royal family, which then booted them out of England.
With King Charles on his way out, Prince William is expected to take over the crown. And apparently at the top of his list is to say, "Peace out, Meghan, you're done." And he plans to formally strip Meghan Markle of her royal title.
It's not a financial thing. Working royals do not profit. They do not use their names to make money. It's an honour to have an HRH.
Absolutely.
So the fact that she's continued to use this HRH when they've been instructed not to, I think is absolutely infuriating in Buckingham Palace.
This is a lady who's very popular for being awful.
But I just can't stand her. I just think she's such a phony.
Harry's digging an even bigger hole for himself here.
Well, I think he's dug so deep now, he'll strike water any day now.
Like, guys, you don't got to do this. Please, I'm begging you to stop.
You just can't keep faking it.
We immediately went into the trenches together.
Yeah.
But she said she was in the trenches. She alludes to being in the trenches when she was in the British royal family. Girl, you lived in a castle. Like, you got a princess title. People were falling at your feet. People would run your bathwater for you. I mean, I could list the perks. I could list them forever. The trenches. She has got to. The Delulu is on another level. Sometimes I envy it.
I've never seen this sort of before. I've never seen someone that struggles to just give us like one strip of authenticity.
It was agreed with Queen Elizabeth that they will not use the HRH title. That is a long-standing precedent, and there's good reason for it. Basically, the HRH is only given to working royals and senior members of the royal family.
The hypocrisy is beyond anything I've ever seen.
He's a duplicitous, self-centered, vile, disloyal hypocrite.
Brat, to be honest, and very, very entitled.
Harry and Meghan, they have an issue when it comes to their memory and when it comes to the truth.
Take me out back and shoot me, okay? Just end my agony now.
She is relentless, she is shameless, and she is exhausting. You are not a successful female entrepreneur.
When the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
Oh, shut up. What do you mean the stakes are this high? Who do you think you are? Other than a latte-munching imbecile living in luxury in California while the rest of the world's a cost of living crisis, moaning and whining about an institution which gave you the titles on which you now trade millions of dollars. What are you talking about? What stakes?
You're in America now, and we don't give a shit about you. You're not our fucking prince. You'll never be king. We hate your wife. Stay at home in your $29 million mansion, all right?
Oh my God, I can't even. These two, Meghan and Harry, are the worst.
Welcome back to Tea Time with Tina. Westminster just pulled the pin on a constitutional grenade, and the shrapnel is aimed straight at Prince Harry's royal crest. For years, the runaway prince has waltzed across red carpets, Netflix sets, and primetime therapy couches flaunting a dukedom, minted by Birthright. But tonight, behind oak-paneled doors older than the United States itself, the House of Lords whispered the 5 words every titled aristocrat dreads: motion to deprive the title.
Now, when Meghan Markle and Prince Harry decided to leave the royal family, they agreed with Queen Elizabeth that they would not use their official title, His Royal Highness or Her Royal Highness, in any commercial capacity. And despite that, Meghan has now readopted Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. But not only that, she's also started to use Her Royal Highness, Duchess of Sussex.
In case you didn't know, the British Crown keeps its sharpest blades sheathed in dusty statute books, and one of those blades is the Titles Deprivation Act of 1917, a wartime relic that chopped honors off German-friendly royals faster than you can say Kaiser. Back then, cousinhood with the enemy equaled exile. Fast forward a century, and the enemy isn't wearing a spiked helmet. He's wearing a California hoodie and streaming deals worth 9 digits. Harry may think history is just an optional Netflix category, but Parliament remembers every chapter. Now, before we dive in, don't forget to like and subscribe because let's face it, I'm nothing without your support. Now back to the tea. Picture Westminster in 1917, Zeppelins overhead, suspicion in every pub, and King George V signing away his relatives' princely styles with an ink pen colder than a London draft. The act was brutal, swift, and unapologetic. Exactly the vibe roiling through the red benches tonight. One lord, clutching a copy of that century-old decree, reportedly murmured, "Once a sword, always a sword." Translation: the monarchy never truly forgets. Harry's no enemy combatant, but public patience claims he's crossed a scarlet line.
Now, the king can end this feud, but not by shaking hands with this treacherous little weasel, but by stripping him and his wife of the royal titles that they love to use for commercial gain without doing any of the work.
Trading state secrets of palace life for Hollywood applause. And under British law, you don't need to spy for the Kaiser to lose your dukedom. You only need to trash the crown's dignity on international syndication.
But of course, the real measure of success of both of them will be the same as it always has been. How much damage can they inflict on our royal family, on our monarchy? I said it before, I'll say it again tonight. King Charles should strip them of all their remaining titles and cast them out from any connection to the royal family. How could any of them trust them, as far as I could throw them? Because without it, they're just whining millennial windbags with a permanent victim complex, knowing that victimhood is what makes them all the money.
The paperwork is not a stunt. Senior Conservative grandee Lord Hemsworth has teamed up with crossbencher Baroness Rothley to table what insiders dub the Dignity of the Crown Act. Clause 1, no noble title may be leveraged for foreign political gain or commercial propaganda. Clause 2, violations trigger immediate suspension pending royal assent.
Being that Meghan and Harry are not official members of the royal family anymore because they stepped down, they're not allowed to use their HRH title.
Meghan has said through a representative today that she is not using the HRH title. We have literal, tangible proof.
Now, Meghan, just last week, she did her first long-form sit-down podcast interview. She showed a basket that she had sent to the host of the podcast as a thank you for allowing her to come on. And here you can kind of zoom in here and it says, with the compliments of Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex.
Yeah, she's gaslighting, she's lying, absolutely. And this is just another one of those examples of Harry and Meghan disrespecting the Queen. I know she is no longer here, but that does not mean that the rules don't apply to you any longer.
Whispered copies circulate like contraband cigars, each stamped confidential in imperial crimson. A clerk, who spoke under the kind of anonymity that makes MI5 look chatty, told us this isn't theater, the forms are in the vault. He could be plain Mr. Henry Mountbatten Windsor by Christmas. The establishment, famous for slow boils, is suddenly running the stove on high. Westminster's marble hallways echo with phrases like actual malice, smear campaign, and bombshell evidence. Yet switch on mainstream breakfast TV, and you'll get a fluffy segment about royal corgis. Coincidence? Or a coordinated media hush? You decide. Pollsters across the kingdom dialed every postcode from Land's End to John O'Groats. The result? 62% of Brits, yes, a solid fish and chips majority, want the Sussex title tossed into the Thames.
A new poll by Find Out Now has revealed that most of the public is supporting the king in this family feud, ongoing family feud, after Harry's bombshell BBC interview. It follows the Court of Appeal's decision to not overturn the ruling on his security in the UK.
Among Conservative voters, enthusiasm skyrockets to 71%. Labour supporters clock in just a breath behind at 68. Even Sussex locals confess on camera. He's a random dude selling family gossip. He doesn't represent us, he represents Netflix. Meanwhile, tabloid front pages run splashy headlines at dawn, only to vanish by lunchtime behind Celebrity Bake-Off updates. One seasoned Fleet Street editor grumbled, "Bosses upstairs keep killing the stories. Too many advertising dollars on the line." If that's not a textbook media cover-up, it's at least a suspicious editorial diet. Viewers smell the censorship and flock to channels like ours for the unfiltered dish. Now here's where it gets even crazier. Remember when royals opened hospitals and cut ribbons? Harry opens Netflix tabs and cuts million-dollar deals. The 100 million pounds docuseries painted the palace as a viper pit and Harry as the snake whisperer.
Now that the once carefree, fun-loving prince has turned into a miserable moaner, lashing out from the depths of his paranoia at a world he thinks is conspiring against him.
Spotify's podcast Die Off proved attention spans have limits, even for crown-adjacent angst. And then came Spare, the memoir that fired verbal shrapnel at almost every Windsor except the corgis. He crowned Camilla dangerous, implied William through hands, and served up Charles as an emotionally constipated monarch in waiting. Meghan, ever the strategic queen on this chessboard, merchandises victimhood with couture precision, sobbing in Calvin Klein, healing in sunshine filters, and reminding America that Buckingham Palace is basically the final boss of systemic oppression.
When the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
Oh, shut up. What do you mean the stakes are this high? Who do you think you are? Other than a latte-munching imbecile living in luxury in California while the rest of the world's a cost of living crisis, moaning and whining about an institution which gave you the titles on which you now trade millions of dollars. What are you talking about? What stakes?
Critics say she's weaponizing her duchessness while waging war on the very system that minted it. Supporters claim it's free speech. The House of Lords calls it grounds for revocation. Yet Netflix boardroom loves the conflict. Scandal sells, and the Sussexes are click magnets in a trench coat. One anonymous Hollywood agent joked, "They're like the royal Kardashians. If Kris Jenner wore a tiara." Savage? Yes. Profitable? Yes. But profit has a half-life. Radioactive today, inert tomorrow. Parliament is betting on tomorrow. While Harry livestreams grievances, King Charles III practices the ancient Windsor art of strategic silence. Palais insiders leak that he's holding draft letters patent, essentially royal erasers, to scrub the Sussex title if Parliament drags its feet. It would be the Andrew precedent on turbo mode. Charles's calculus? Let the democratic machine clank and clatter first, then swoop in as the serene arbiter. Prince William, sources claim, is done with half measures. He allegedly told aides, either the brand means something or it means nothing. Translation, cut the cord. Palace courtiers, famous for subtlety, have stopped correcting reporters who call Harry simply Mr. Mountbatten Windsor. That's the royal equivalent of removing someone from the family group chat without warning. Brutal, yes. Effective, absolutely. Imagine tomorrow's headlines. Netflix renegotiates Sussex deal after title loss. Corporate sponsors dislike loose cannons without a crest. Bankers fear lawsuits when brand promises crumble. One entertainment lawyer faxed us sheets of worst-case projections. Drop the dukedom, and the couple's brand valuation plunges by up to 60% overnight. The Archewell charity? It might limp on, but donors chasing royal sparkle could vanish faster than you can say philanthro PR. Hollywood whispers claim Meghan's prepping a solo pivot. Think talk show circuit, lifestyle empire, maybe even a Senate run. But without the Duchess prefix, is the magic gone? As one studio exec quipped, if she's just Meghan Markle, she's competing with every influencer who owns a ring light. Harsh? Sure. Accurate? Time will tell, but Harry's predicament is worse. Strip the dukedom, and he's a memoirist with a diminishing shock factor. Publishers salivate over scandal, until scandal becomes cliché. Spare too. Even Sparier won't hit the same without an HRH on the spine. Mark your calendars. The petition faces initial debate next fortnight, with Commons readings queued for early summer. Multiple MPs reportedly demand access to a so-called Netflix lobby memo, hinting at back-channel pressure to squash the act. If that document surfaces, we're talking Watergate-level spectacle with a royal flavor. Sources swear it names executives, PR firms, and yes, at least one A-list director acting as informal envoy. Will the mainstream networks air every minute? Don't count on it. Corporate ties are sticky, and Sussex Ratings once bought beachfront property in prime time. That's why this channel exists, to slice through spin with the sharpness of a lord's quill. So buckle up, smash that subscribe button, and ring the bell like you're tolling Big Ben at midnight. Because the next episode could vaporize a 1,000-year-old title and expose a media machine that prints fairy tales for profit. Harry's royal crest is dangling by a single fraying historical thread, and Westminster is holding scissors.